I just realized this is the first time, I think, since my honeymoon that I don't have to GM an M&M game this week.
Wow.
Oh, we can fix
Wow.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
You can fix it if you want. It's fine. I'm available.
Well, it is Mutants and Masterminds Monday, and the music's not quite as jaunty as I like, but it ain't bad, I guess.
Mhm.
Like we've done more superheroic music than this.
Yeah, it's kind of a little super chill, but it's. I really do like my new MuMaMO.
MuMaMO?
Yeah, Mutants and Mutants and Masterminds
Yes.
Monday. MuMaMO.
Monday.
Oh, MuMaMO. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
MuMaMo.
Yeah. I was
Brought to you by the people.
gonna tweet. Come watch us try and talk Troy out of MuMaMo, but
It's
Brought
not
to you by
too
the
late.
folks who came up with the NaNoWriMo acronym.
Good Eminem Monday unto you, Sean Vieira, Calvin, you as well. Calvin says happy Monday, which that could be a thing, I guess. Monday.
Monday.
Somehow this feels worse.
Today we are designing maps with Crystal. I'm really excited about this. Folks are, we love maps. You know that we love Crystal. Two of those together on one program, I mean, that's something that's mighty fine, if you ask me. And I know you did because you're watching. Aura, good to see you as well. Mutants and Masterminds Map Making Monday.
Yeah, I
I'm a
always kind
fan.
of forget we can do maps for this game because it's not super tactical.
right.
Called
Yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson Jr.
Oh, what's the J for? Jiminy.
Quality.
The J is for quality. Speaking of quality, look at these three quality human beings. Hi, friends.
Hello.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn this music down, and so we don't feel like we need to take a nap. Okay, so before we dive into the map making, I do want to make a little announcement, just a little tiny one. So imagine it relates to the subject. Imagine that you wanted to pick a place on Beyonce's Earth where the most villainous of villainies occur, and what would you say?
Texas.
Oh, okay. You know what? It could be in Texas. I happen to agree with you in a very strong way. But imagine what.
Beyonce's Earth. It's probably wherever Kylie Rowland is right now.
See, okay, so you're getting into the celebrity gossip part of that. We don't get into that until the end of the show,
Oh.
But no, actually, Danger Zone Aquarium is out, and
Heck yeah.
and when you want danger, you go to the aquarium, especially if, let's say, Megalodon. That's
Yes.
yeah. I mean, Megalodon could be just hanging out in the little tidal pool that you go and to touch stuff.
It's a terrible place for a giant shark man to hang.
Shark to hang out.
Really,
right?
it's very conspicuous. Do we have other
What's that giant
ski-
shark guy doing there?
Yeah. Why is it so cranky?
His love language is touch. Okay, he's just trying to get in connection with the other people.
Right.
That's really sweet. What other sea villains do we have?
Devil Ray.
Devil Ray.
Devil Ray. Okay, Devil Ray. Do we have like any kind of a sort of a blobfish related villain?
Just you, Troy. Just you.
Just me. All right, so head on over to Roll20. That map is up, or that whole packet of good information. It's not just a map; it's like a whole experience. Is there? We've got tokens. We've got all the things you would expect, and it's only $4.99, so you can bring your folks, and give Megalodon a little pat on the head, a little hugsy, and everything ought to turn out just fine. So there you go. Check that out, and we will drop a link in the chat. So today we're making maps, and Crystal, all three of us, when I say that's Steve, Alex, and I, are just a huge fan of your work, and we love what you do. And in addition to being able to work with you, we get to sit and see you in action and appreciate you as just sort of the sort of the industry luminary that you are, you're going to walk us through maps, and I'm not even exaggerating. So give me a break. But I will say this, Crystal, I've been looking forward to this ever since we planned this, and folks who watched the planning meeting will remember this was one of the first ideas that we came up with. And Crystal, I love Crystal's face. You have you've handled the compliments very well. I'll turn it over to you and leave you alone.
All right, so maps don't come up a lot for Mutants and Masterminds because, it's not a super tactical game. You don't need a map for every encounter, but a lot of people, consider them a lot of fun. For a lot of people, it really helps them visualize what's going on in an investigation or a fight or something like that. So, being able to pull up some basic maps for your table or draw something out really quick is really handy. Part of the concept of danger zones is, giving some tools for visual thinkers to tinker with their Mutants and Masterminds encounters, so you can, think about where your heroes are and what's in their surroundings. So I did a couple of maps for the book. Mostly it's Sean McDonald's work. I did the aquarium and fast food restaurant. But yeah. And today we're going to kind of look at some of the basics of how you make a map of your own. I walk through the process with Photoshop, but you can do this with any of the freeware image editors you've got. You can do this just on, dry erase paper or something like that.
Yeah, so real quick, I wanted to interject while you get some stuff ready. I was about ready to drop the link in, and wouldn't you know it, who should appear out of the ether but Jay Gray, the Link Wizard,
nice to
the
see you again,
original Link Wizard. Thank you so much for sharing that. I was like, wait, what? I was just thinking about you this morning and hoping everything was going well. But yeah, so excellent, fantastic. And I'm going to remove my source, and then we're ready to go if you want to share.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to look at right now, but I figured I would ask people what are we mapping out today for our Mutants and Masterminds adventure?
Ooh, good question.
I mean, for me, the classic superhero map is always like a street scene for one, scene or another. It's a stretch of street or road or bridge with buildings or interesting landmarks or things around it, because so much superhero action takes place out in a city.
Makes sense.
Yeah, a dirty alley.
A dirty alley, sure, okay.
Blood
What do
and
we want
filth
to do
runs
to
through the
spice up
gutters.
the street scene? Like, we're not illustrating it. We're giving people like ideas tactically what to do here. Like,
Right.
places to pick out cover or the kinds of people who would be in danger.
Pook mentions a train station.
Oh yeah, a train
That's
station.
clever.
Like
Yeah.
a street out in front of a train station. I mean,
Right.
normally I'd spend some time looking up reference, but I've shared my screen, Troy. Do you want to bring that up?
I sure do. Here we go. Sorry, that was one screen down. Nice.
So yeah, what I generally start with is just figuring out kind of let me do a sketch layer really quick. Just figuring out the basics of what I want from the map. So we're going to want, almost as a flowchart, basically. So we're going to have a street area for people to come in on. Probably figure on building, alley areas. I don't know if that's how you abbreviate building.
It works, yeah.
I'm going to go with probably some stairs. And a ramp on the side, just because,
Got a corgi.
My dog is barking. I don't know if he's talking to Dr. Corky or not.
Oh, I see. They're communicating.
There's
Oh, I was
kind of
gonna say, yeah, an
elevated
L train
train
would be cool.
platform.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm assuming this is, like a subway or an elevated train.
Mhm.
Yeah, like the
Platformer
light rail in
station,
Seattle.
I mean, I guess I could look up what a train station looks like too, but yeah. So my initial ideas for maps generally start out figuring out what any given location needs,
Mm-hmm.
and this is going to need columns for support, and maybe a statue. Please excuse my handwriting. I don't know. What else does an elevated train station?
Well, it's got kiosks or
Oh,
little ticket ATMs,
Mhm.
turnstiles, probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Turnstiles. Right.
Is there usually a security office at a train station?
Well, yeah, or like a little ticket booth or something like that.
Mhm.
Oftentimes.
Do you have like a snack area? Like vending machines and
It could be a food truck
sometimes.
outside or something like a or a food
Yeah.
cart, like a hot dog stand or something out front.
a hot dog stand.
So that's going to be more down here.
Yeah, pretty much, David. Pretty much everything on a superhero map has to be predicated with the notion that the characters might throw it at someone.
Absolutely. I was thinking that, what's funny, David, is I was thinking that exact same thing. Like, what could be tossed at a villain or, at a hero?
That's 90% of why I use maps in M&M is showing the players what stuff they could pick up and throw around.
More of an armory, really, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So turn down the opacity on that, but then. So I don't need the effects.
So Apu brings up a really interesting idea. I think it's Rube Goldberg, but or maybe it's like a RuPaul Goldberg's motion sculpture, but like a piece of modern art or something, or like some installation of
There's a bunch of those in Boston, especially at the airport.
Sean mentions a newsstand of some kind.
Yeah, good calls all around.
It's interesting, thinking about the fact that Mutants and Masterminds is not a particularly map tactical game, dating back to my own experience playing various superhero games that did use maps back in the day, and how a lot of my my tendency to design stuff in Mutants and Masterminds to not rely very much on maps, largely being because I'm not very good at them. And so, like designing hex maps in Champions was always such a chore that I was like, I want a game that doesn't rely so much on tactical maps. I think it would have been interesting if I had the kind of tools we have now for map building or virtual tabletop, if I would have designed some elements of the game differently.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because it is a little easier now than ever to kind of get in and do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So right now, just putting in a basic roadway. So just 1 second.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
While Crystal and Dr. Corgi have a consultation, we can talk about. I'm trying to remember. Didn't Stan draw us a hot dog villain? Didn't that happen?
Yes,
okay? Good.
I'm just familiar, yeah.
Yeah. So I can
a condiment-based villain.
Yes. I think really more of a condiment. Yes, indeed. Which is, I'm going to see if we can't maybe lobby to see the villain added to the mix. But let's see. Take a couple questions or comments. Jonesy says he has a
Mhm.
30-year-old
I hear ya.
Champions map. That is so
Yeah.
a pook. Everything in Champions was exhausting. Oh,
Yeah.
I like this.
Uh,
Modern art sculpture animated by a villain. Sure.
Yep.
Aw, see? Nice.
Sorry about that. She's going
Not
into
a
bad baby
problem.
jail for a few minutes.
I think that
Baby
might be
jail.
where she wants to go.
I was just going to say that doesn't seem like much of a punishment. But
Right.
All right. So yeah. Oof. So it's pretty basic, but I'm just going to go with kind of a standard 1 square equals 5 feet for now,
mm,
which just comes from 20 years of mapping for D&D and
Right.
Pathfinder.
right.
But yeah, if you want easier metrics for Mutants and Masterminds, doing like a 10-foot square makes it a lot easier to figure out, like, is this power within my range? How far can I move?
hmm
Things like that. It's pretty,
That's true.
again, it's not a super tactical game. If you've got more than 2 ranks of a movement power, you can basically just decide you're anywhere on the map at any given time, but it can still be fun to figure out where you can move and how fast or how wide things are, or again, sometimes just having the map out there lets players know, oh, there's a hot dog cart I can throw.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing as well is when it comes to the way that you play or where you play. I mean, theater of the mind works better when you're around a table. I feel like sometimes the virtual tabletop stuff requires that you have a kind of a shared vision of what's happening ahead of you. But yeah, that's great.
Yeah, just go with a basic.
Yeah,
I
it's
also
true.
use them to help establish, to give myself a bit of a shortcut when I want to say, hey, there are some civilians over here who are in danger. The players can see them
Mhm.
before I spring them on them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just
And like Sean said in his comment, they are really helpful at cons as a sort of shorthand
hmm
to deal with the fact that you don't know the people you're playing with.
And that's a big
Yeah.
part of it, right? You haven't had a chance because it's really kind of a bond, and a
hmm
comfort level that you get with people when
Mhm.
you spend some time together. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I used maps a lot when I was running demo games at cons because, like Alex says, they just set the scene very quickly without having to go into a lot of explanation.
So, I want a platform that's pretty large, but
Especially if you're not really prepared, like sometimes I'm not when I run a con game.
what?
What? That would never happen.
No,
Never
you
running a
never-
game at a con completely cold with no idea what I was going to do.
So unprofessional, Alex.
What's funny about that is like coming in and just doing something extemporaneous for you three is like a person who's spent how many decades preparing for that moment, like so it is funny, but the reality is you build up that
Yes.
professional skill and you're drawing on a wealth of resources, plus you just are good at kind of doing the thing. Here's a good it's interesting. Poop brings up, I find having a map, even a suggestive one, is
No, you want to turn in for my cartography after dark lecture first.
That's right.
Right.
Troy's going to
Everyone's
naughty
got their
kid jail.
maps.
Sorry. Oh, I gotta stop. Okay, it helps both ground the players and inspire creativity. What I was gonna say before you made me laugh is it's interesting how kind of having a bounding box helps inspire that creativity. It's almost like you have so many choices, so if you want to really zero in on it, make sure you've got your suggestive map all drawn up. Let's see. Oh, this is great. Yeah. I'll take a rough map hand drawn into Roll20 over anything. One thing I do, I'm a nerd for this stuff, but I really do like seeing how people use Photoshop. Is this Photoshop or is it?
It's Photoshop.
It's Photoshop. Okay.
Yeah, I use a
Because
couple of other programs too, but Photoshop is just the more universally recognized.
a question from our buddy Squire says, do you use a stylus on a pad for your PC, or is this using your mouse?
No, this is me using a stylus and a pad. So I've got a Wacom tablet left over from art school, so it wasn't completely useless.
Hey,
Handy input device.
But yeah, any input device you can get comfortable with. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy.
Yeah.
I'm going to do
You know-
a quick cheat here too.
Yeah,
Or,
being able to draw on tablets has gotten really good overall.
Oh, it sure has. Yeah. The tools of the trade. I mean, in general, just given the rapid pace of technological advancement, it just gets better and better for sure. Or I'm with you. Or says I'm a really visual person, and I basically need a map, or I act like those aliens in that Colonial Marines game, the glitched ones where they walk into walls all the time. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty much me as well.
And I want to indicate all of this stuff is up high. So what I'm going to do is kind of cheat it by making another layer. With all of the tall stuff.
Yeah, you're
Sean,
right, Sean. Maps are really good at showing scale and where things relatively are, to each other, and how big something is compared to something else.
And then give it a little drop shadow.
I agree.
ooh, good little drop shadow. I love that.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and it's a super cheap technique. You just make a new layer, or select what you want to seem like it's high up, and make a new layer. Make the layer fill invisible, and then just give it a drop shadow, and you can continue sketching away on your former layer without messing anything up.
Mm,
Hey, I like
That's
it.
dope. That's a really good idea.
that's a nice 3D effect.
I'm going to use a layer mask really quick, and a layer mask is just basically, you're not going to destroy the layer underneath, but you're telling the computer, hey, go ahead and destroy everything underneath. Or you're telling the computer to hide whatever's underneath.
Hmm.
There we go.
Well,
Craft
a lot of
Zero.
our Danger Zone maps are appearing on Virtual Tabletop, at least on Roll20 Craft Zero. I don't know if we have any Foundry plans just yet.
We do indeed. Yeah, we've got some.
There we go.
Yeah, we've got some big Foundry plans. Right now, we've got the Expanse is up, and it's kind of in a testable phase. But we are going to be rolling over. We've got all of the. We've got lots of Mutants Mastermind stuff. That was the first thing that we launched on Roll20, and so we're right now sorting out sort of the differences between distribution for Foundry and Roll20, and they act quite different. We had hoped maybe that there'd be some back and forth, and but outside of that, we're gearing up for that, and that's going to happen in the very near future. So thank you for asking that question.
So decided this is going to be kind of a little. Very walkable, very, pedestrian-friendly shopping area. So we're going to make a little plaza here.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be a place to put our statue, say, there. I usually just put a little star to say, hey, there's a statue here. But you can just fake in things like buildings. So you've got rooftops nearby. You might want to indicate how tall things are. So like the subway platform is plus 20 feet. And, maybe this rooftop here. You know what? We could do like a little rooftop restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
See, now the map is inspiring things.
Yes.
I would have just gone with a water tower. That's way smarter than me.
And I just fake up tables by doing like a little circle
mapping with
some
crystal
chairs
clear.
around them.
Seriously, that is
Right?
This is legit.
And then you can just copy and paste as many tables as you want. And, you know, by all means, if you're doing maps at home, don't feel like you have to make them perfect or beautiful. Like, my maps at home basically don't even look this good 99% of the time. I only really go out of my way for things that get published.
Interesting. Jay Gray brings up something interesting. He says, I actually start with the map first before developing the world. I imagine it kind of can come from all different angles, right?
Mm-hmm. Then I'm just going to rip off Alex's suggestion and put a little water tower here.
Super handy.
Mm-hmm. That'd be great.
That's a very good thing to chuck at somebody.
There.
So that's a very good thing to chuck at somebody.
Exactly.
Great for putting out fires, fiery villains.
And go ahead and indicate that this is sidewalky areas. And one of the easiest things you can do is add a little bit of, oh, yeah, hi. No, you cannot get down. You're in bad baby jail. Give a little bit of color with some squiggles. So we've got a little.
Some greenery. I like it. Landscaping.
Yeah, somebody with plant control powers might be able to use these, or somebody might use them for cover.
You know, Sean, we're in Seattle, so we've got the rotating, the Space Needle, which rotates. But yeah, that's definitely rotating restaurants. Maybe not as popular as they once were.
Not since heroes kept throwing them like frisbees.
Right. Kaiju kept trying to bite them.
Right.
That hamburger-shaped restaurant was a great idea one time.
Yeah, it was a great idea until.
Yeah, put in a little food cart down here and a little umbrella on it. See if it reads. I don't know.
Yeah, Crystal, I'm going to have to get a tablet and do some of this. This is
It's great, huh? Yeah.
I use Photoshop all the time, but I never use it for something like this.
And, you know, don't forget your support columns so people know, you know, what they blast to make the train fall.
Right.
I'm just going to, again,
We'll copy and paste.
Cheat this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm putting these 5 apart, apparently. So 1, 2, 4, 5.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Jonesy. If, where would this map be located in the world of in our world?
Oh gosh, maybe on Freedom City, or
could be. I'm getting a Freedom City, Emerald City kind of a vibe from it. I agree with Jonesy. It's way too nice to be Fairyburg.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it could be one of the sort of gentrified corners of Fairyburg.
True.
David asks a really good question, and Gene, I saw your question. We'll get to that in just a second. But how many times have you used Google Maps to set the map?
Oh, plenty of times.
Yeah, lots.
Just to steal some basic street layout. Sorry, fussy dog here on my lap. Oh.
Yeah, and if you're working with real world places in your Mutants and Masterminds game, you can always just grab a Google map and scale it, to about the size you need it to be, and go with that.
One of my favorite D&D tricks, at least, is, or Starfinder in D&D, is steal a map of a mall, and then you've instantly got like a large dungeon complex or
like an arc ship.
A space station or a colony.
Yep.
Well, that's brilliant. Very brilliant. I love that.
Bodhi, for modern day cityscapes, I'll also Google aerial top-down drone footage of specific locations if I just want to take that and use it as a map, because there's people who load drone footage of everything everywhere.
Good. Interesting. That's really smart. Aura brings up, for interior reference, architectural floor plans for houses. Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
There we go. They're very, very basic turnstiles over here. And I really should have referenced what an actual turnstile looks like, but...
Oh, close enough.
And just resize and squish this around. Yeah, sure, that works. So, different ways to access the platform up here.
Right.
I need to put in a little elevator too. So,
Love it. Do we know off the top how many maps are in our
In danger zones?
in danger zones?
35.
There you go, Gene. Gene asked what's the number of danger zones in the danger zone map? Sorry. Yeah. So
Well,
is it
technically there are 36 because Danger Zones Roads has 2 maps, but
Mm-hmm.
nice?
there are 35 danger zones. All right.
Yeah.
Got a little alley here, a little food cart. Let's bring down some tables because again, this is pretty walkable area. And you know what? I'm betting.
Hey, they stole those tables from that restaurant up there.
Oh,
Right.
it's okay. There's an infinite supply of them. I'm gonna do another little food cart over here. This one's gonna be. Let's go with kebabs. So,
Mm. Someplace that has open flames.
oh God, yes.
Oh, right. Yeah. Which reminds me, I know that we've got the water tower. Would we want to have some other kind of a water feature of
Or like a fountain or something like that.
some kind of
Oh yeah, we
fountain?
can
Or,
absolutely.
Could have. You
I'll
could
just.
build that right around your statue.
Flambe on wheels is the food cart with the fire
Yep.
feature.
And then just make your stuff as recognizable as you need it to be, and then you can answer player questions, or if you're the player, make it recognizable enough that you can basically tell the GM it's whatever you need it to be when the
Mm-hmm.
question comes up.
So that's actually really solid advice that might have snuck through without a little elaboration, because I think people oftentimes will prepare stuff and they want it to look as good for the people who are going to be engaging, but you want to make it as good as it looks. Make it so that you at least like it, and that but also it's about reminding you where things are.
Yeah.
So
And,
I like that.
Gonna add a little trash can because garbage cans are everywhere in the city. Well, depending on your city, because for some reason
Right.
you had 0 public trash cans.
Hey, everything's a trash can if you're a jerk.
That's right. That's right. Interesting. This is very interesting. Okay, so Jay says if you're doing a game for a con, grab a map from a local small architect firm and ask if they would like to use some of their portfolio layouts in your game as an advertisement of their work. Interesting. It's a curious idea. And it sounds like a local. I mean, I like the creativity behind that, and innovation, and getting some of that cheddar. Let's see.
That is a brave extrovert technique.
Yeah. Right.
It really is
I
absolutely.
don't know.
complete
I don't know if I can
strangers.
reach out.
Hi, I'm a weird nerd. Give me your things.
Right. I would like to use your thing for my weird superhero game thing for exposure.
I love it. They'll be like, "What?" But you never know. There are tabletop role players in every
I was just gonna say,
strata and job and all that.
nerds are everywhere. So
That sounds like a great idea. I'm going to try that next con.
Yeah.
It's always no until you ask, right? Like,
yeah, that's true.
And I've also found that doing some weird shapes, on your building corners or whatever, really helps it feel a lot more engaging to anybody looking at it. So adding, like a little indent here or these curved corners on the subway platform, helps make it feel like, more of a realistic location. And then
David, I like your thinking here. Don't forget to snag some promo PDFs for museums and planetariums for Danger Zones. Really smart. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's where our museum comes from, but I certainly couldn't lie and say I wasn't inspired by promotional images I found on the internet.
And I would also, all of this stuff is really great creative stuff, but be sure that you're, be measurable and
Mhm.
let's not go to
Right.
like the Pentagon and ask for floor plans or,
Yeah. Sometimes the email needs to be entitled "Dear FBI, this is for a game."
right.
Yeah,
Always nerd responsibly.
Yeah.
And we need something to kind of tell the street apart from the sidewalk. What do I want to do there?
Manhole covers?
I'm thinking, well, let's darken up the color first on.
Street lamps
Oh,
would be
Paul,
good
good
too.
one. Yeah, tour guide books. Yeah.
Yep.
In every airport and any place where people are coming or going from another place to the place you're at, they're going to have a big display of just 1,000 different, leaflets
Yep.
and pamphlets and stuff. You
Maps.
probably could,
What
yeah.
is going on?
Or Anon has requested a pigeon.
I think a pigeon's too small on the scale of this map.
A pigeon coop on one of the roofs could be good, though.
Right.
Yeah, that works. And we'll use a toned down desaturated version for sidewalks. Yeah, again, you don't really need to go into a lot of detail or give things pretty textures or anything like that. Although it's super easy to cheat the textures. You just all you really have to do for textures is go look up, say, go to Google and ask for asphalt texture.
Jay Gray, you've been studying for this your whole life.
Get a ton of samples. Yeah.
I've stolen the maps of all my childhood schools. Just imagine a little link wizard running around, stealing all the maps.
Yeah. All you do is drop. If you want to use a texture, all you have to do is find an image you like with the texture you enjoy and put it on your map. Set it to. I usually like overlay, or sometimes multiply if you want a really dark image. Tweak the opacity downwards a little, and then you just.
Yeah, as David Bodie points out, all of these suggestions are for your home game.
That's right.
It's not a good idea to try and publish people's stolen maps.
Yes, do not publish stolen maps.
Not at all. And also remember that
in the past,
even some derivative works, depending upon or inspired by a work from somebody else, can get you in hot water.
Get you in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't copy your. Well, I mean, copy maps for your home game, but don't copy maps for anything you're going to publish.
The Map Thief Wizard.
I'm going to make these buildings look tall real quick.
Tis I, the cartographer.
There we go.
Looking good. This is great.
So yeah.
That drop shadow idea is so cool. That instantly makes it look like a much snappier map.
It does, yeah.
It's a lot of little things that kind of pop your map out, like adding small details like the tables, or what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn that down to a little gray.
Dominic says, "Man, taking me back to my mass media law."
Right?
Yeah. Oops. Oh no!
Stan's back.
DM for Stan.
I'm so excited. I can't stand it.
Are those pigeons?
What? No.
I think they're pigeons.
Do they even look like pigeons? Those can't possibly be pigeons.
They're evocative of pigeons.
Right.
So let's be proof that you do not need to know how to draw a pigeon to add pigeons to your map.
Right.
There
you go.
Finally,
And if
those
someone's like, well, I really want,
bird control powers come in handy.
That's right.
And yeah, I mean, that's really all there is to it. Just adding bits and pieces. I'm gonna flesh in another building over here. You know what? Let me show off some of the other tools. So if you go with this rounded tool over here and set it to give you pixels. You can basically give yourself easy round buildings. Of course, if you draw it on the edge of the map like that, then you don't get an easy round building, you get a little chunk, but sometimes that's all you really want.
Right?
Stan, you are the absolute best.
Then we're just going to... Again, another easy way of cheating. Draw the shape you want, set the fill to 0, and then put a stroke on it, and boom, you've got a building.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Free draw in the edge of that ledge. And we'll call this the Orange Juice Emporium. And
It's
give them a
suitably
little
shaped.
statue out front of their mascot, Orangey the Juice Bear.
Dominic, you're giving
Creamsicle
me an
colored polar
idea.
bear.
You're giving me an idea for the cartographer versus the architect, and they both are trying to steal each other's maps, and the heroes are caught in the middle of their villain rivalry.
Right.
Orange Caesar.
Orange Caesar, no.
And I keep doing this to just indicate where doors are.
Mm.
So whatever reminds you that this is where a door goes, go ahead and slap that on. And then, you know what they need is a billboard. That's what we haven't drawn
Right.
yet.
It does
Oh,
have
right.
big neon sign or a billboard or something.
And that needs, because it's a billboard, it needs a little walkway in front.
Jews.
And there's Orangey again, telling you to drink juice.
That's so good.
At this point, I'm just kind of punch drunk.
I love it. Well,
Drunk on maps.
drunk on the power of mapping. Speaking of the power of maps, we've inspired a bit of art. I'm going to show it.
I'm stoked.
Wait, let me get back over here to the main screen.
Right? This is a shame to waste it all. Like,
I love it.
For wasting Stan's art on our weird little stream.
I think he was talking about wasting hot dogs, on a villain.
Yes,
but
I was.
Stan, did you intentionally make the superhero orange before or after we knew about the orange business?
He made it before.
Don't underestimate Stan's powers.
That's true. That is true. He is extra dimensional.
Stan exists outside the natural strain of cause and effect.
That's right.
And we'll call this an apartment building, so we can just kind of throw a pigeon coop up here.
Right.
Which, don't ask why my pigeon coop looks exactly like my dumpster, but... And say a little garden.
And a little person on top who's like, why are all my pigeons not here when they're down in the courtyard?
Right. They're all down at the restaurant.
And
Crystal and Stan are in sync. That is their in sync cover band that they bring out at karaoke
can't
time.
prove a thing.
Right? But NDA is ironclad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to disagree with you, Mr. Bodie. Kraut, no thank you. Ooh.
Oh, kraut is delicious.
Oh, yuck.
There we go.
Hey, nice little rooftop garden.
Yep, I'm going to make these tall real quick, which, again, is just a matter of selecting what you want to be tall. And
I don't know what this means, but it cracks me up. Remember me? Have some bananas.
Thanks
Okay.
for the bananas temporary.
Thank you.
what goes out here in front of the...
A pop-up stand from a rival juice company.
Oh, now we know why there's a supervillain fight.
Right.
Oh, you know what it is? Somebody's got to make a Juicy the Orange Bear mecha that goes insane. Starts driving the place.
That's great. So like a animatronic.
It's a grand opening gone tragically wrong.
I love it.
And
Oh yeah, Jonesy just mentioned a fire hydrant.
Oh, fire hydrants.
Oh,
Sure.
I think we talked about that.
Fire hydrant makes me think dog park, but that's probably
Mm.
weird word association.
Smoothie lad.
I think I dated him.
Smoothie lad.
No, you
Hey
did
Jay, yeah, I just want to say real quick, Jay, thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure to see you. Take care, and yeah, look forward to your message. Oh, street lamp.
Now people are just
yes,
picking
it's
random
street
things they
lantern.
remember from streets.
They're literally like any trope, any kind of like, what is a hero
Right.
thrown or wrapped around a villain, or you know,
Traffic cones.
yeah.
Yeah. Part of it just comes down to I'm drawing without reference here, and that's always a pain in the butt. Is that an acceptable street lamp, people?
Sure.
Works for me.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you know, temporary. I'm certain your name isn't temporary, but I'm glad you like the Blue Rose stream. I am really glad that you like the World of Lazarus stream. I learned so much during that. You know, we had Crystal on for Thursday last and talked about World of Lazarus, and phenomenal. I mean, like I just, you know,
Right.
we've got so many products that I just haven't been able to do a deep dive on each of them.
That
And
book doesn't get nearly enough love, unfortunately.
no, I'm
Sure,
loving it up.
get
Let
more
me tell you.
attention.
Yeah,
It's
it was
really good.
really, really great information. And so if you folks haven't seen that, you want to catch it on demand on our YouTube channel. I think you'll be able to see it on Facebook as well. But it was great. As a matter of fact, we've got people over the weekend, just because I saw someone was really excited about learning about modern age. I slipped them a little surprise PDF of World of Lazarus, so they could incorporate that stuff into their
Nice.
business. Yeah.
There we go. A lot of the time to draw little details, all you need is an appropriately colored blob in the right general shape.
People get
Right.
it. Yeah.
We're near the red dot as a
just
fire
has to be
hydrant.
good enough that people get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be perfect.
Some
Honestly,
cars
if you're doing
wouldn't
it
be
perfect,
amiss.
you're wasting your time.
So there's a bunch of there's a lot of really great suggestions. You know, we've got like someone's talking about a light pole. Someone's talking about street performers or power lines or a manhole. When you get a map, or when you're like, how do you augment a map to be suitable to what you're going to be running? Like if you just want to really make sure that there's a manhole, or maybe it isn't quite as made to order as this is.
I mean, there's no one perfect map. There's no one perfect way to
Yeah.
make a map. A lot of it just comes down to, when you're doing it professionally, what are you trying to get across or convey? And like, what elements do you think, your employer is looking for? What kind of scene is it set up for? But if it's just for, you at home, it's just as much as you want to do for fun.
Yeah.
Like it. So go ahead, Steve.
Well, I was just going to say, I think Crystal's map really points out one of the ways in which maps are really inspirational tools, because even if the only thing that the encounter this map is for requires is the big round juice shop and the street out in front of it, the fact that we have all of this other stuff in the immediate vicinity, that the players can get this really rich visual picture of what the whole area looks like, can inspire all kinds of things that the adventure might not call for, but that the players might come up with, just on the fly, of saying, oh, hey, well, there's a fountain here, or hey, there's a rooftop restaurant here. We can, use these things as part of this scene as it goes on.
Fantastic. So we're looking at about 10 minutes before we are concluding this episode. I'm looking at this map and it is evocative, Steve. You're absolutely right. Like you start to think about all the various sorts of things that you can kind of portray on this stage, which I really, really love. There are some, let's see. John asks, should hazards and obstacles be thought out prior to designing the map or vice versa?
Usually it's a joint effort. Sometimes you're figuring them out beforehand. Sometimes you're figuring them out afterwards or as you go. Most of the hazards and whatnot in danger zones were things that were written before the book or before the maps were ordered.
Right.
But if it's something that a particular author was really passionate about, they might have put the details on the map, on the map sketch they turned over, so that we made sure it got included.
Yeah, I'm really embarrassed of the maps I turned over after seeing Crystal do this in an hour.
I know, right?
In less than an hour. I mean, like it had to have been like maybe 40 minutes.
This would be like 8 hours of work for me.
I'd get lost in the Photoshop. It would be the Photoshop filtering and all the. I'm like watching how Crystal's doing this with just amazement, and it's just really great.
It's not. I'm not doing a lot here. It's just a little bit of practice.
Yeah,
you might not be doing a lot, but you are. The little bit you were doing is going a long way.
That's right.
And adding just a little hit of color kind of helps things.
It really does. Yeah.
It helps differentiate things visually.
Yeah, all you're really trying to do is get players to understand, like, these tables are separate from the ground, or
Right.
if you want to put in, as was suggested several times and I ignored so far, a manhole cover. Those are about
this is wide. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, look, all right, we got our manhole cover. Aura brings up something that I think is important. So map making for people who don't or can't draw, like me. What are some program recommendations? Chat, that'd be great to hear from you as well, but what do you three like to lean into? Crystal can just draw things with her mind, so
I also use Photoshop, but not nearly this skilled. Photoshop has a lot of great box making tools that I'll use to just draw general shapes, and I'll tell the players what this general shape is supposed to represent in the flavor text, because their imagination will do a lot of work for you. And yeah, that's not something it's not something that they'll be worried about when they see a pretty map or a basic map. They're just happy to have that frame of reference.
Hi, Sean, this is interesting. This is also a good solution for when you have a map that someone else drew and you want to add a hazard to it. Yeah, like a clear piece of plastic. You can sort of, here's the hazard, and fits flat, and that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times what I do is just grab maps off the internet and then drop them into Photoshop or drop them into GIMP or drop them into Creative Suite, or not Creative Suite. I'm blanking on the name. Some image editing program, and then just erase the parts I don't need or copy parts that I want to be larger. So usually I don't even spend this much time on maps for my home game. It's just me grabbing things.
Gotcha. Yeah. So just it's GIMP, just GIMP. It's not the GIMP, David.
Program, yes.
Yes,
it's just GIMP, but yeah, for sure. Sorry, I'm crying. I'm laughing so loud, so hard. Okay. campaign cartographer, Dominic mentions.
Hmm.
Not something that. Okay, yeah, all right, nice. Let's see. Dungeon draft, interesting. Cool. Okay, we'll have to check that out. Pro fantasy software tools like City Designer. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I often bring a whiteboard to convention games also to in order to sketch maps quickly that way.
Yeah.
If I don't print the maps out beforehand.
Yeah, it makes a good play surface. You can just set on the table and draw on with dry erase markers.
And I don't know why, but my keyboard has stopped responding.
She's typing too fast. The keyboard will never keep up.
Right? It's going to burst into flames.
I can't hack this fast.
Uh,
I need 2 hands on the keyboard, 4 hands on the keyboard.
yeah, don't forget to save your work often, kids, because Photoshop
Right.
will absolutely destroy it.
Yes.
For fun.
Because Photoshop likes to crash for no reason whatsoever.
All
Right.
the time.
It does
Yep.
indeed. Just suddenly vanish, and your computer will go "Rrrr," make a grinding noise. I have a sneaking suspicion that somebody in our chat is a fan of the Golden Age and Silver Age.
Mm.
That's interesting. I wonder where could you find inspiration for Silver Age, Golden Age maps?
Well, there's a ton of historic architectural stuff out there, for one thing.
Yeah.
And you can find, especially if you're looking at particular architectural movements from the time periods.
Sure.
Like Art Deco stuff. From the early 20th century, you'll find a lot of good Golden Age stuff. That's also historically significant.
Yeah, and there's tons of World War II maps for.
Yeah.
You can
Sure.
even look up for miniature wargaming. Sometimes I'll look up HeroClix maps for Mutants and Masterminds maps too.
Oh, interesting. Sean Duggan brings up, I'm glad you're here, Sean, by the way. Howdy do. Mapui.net. I was almost going to say Mapui, but it's Mapui. It's not Mapui.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Interesting. I wonder why that is. Yeah, so many of the maps available online are cyberpunk maps.
Yeah,
Which
there are a lot of cyberpunk modern day maps.
a lot of them are still pretty useful for superhero games. So
Yeah. High tech cities.
Oh, okay. Sean says it's MIPUI. So it's Mipui.
Yeah, I often find it's either cyberpunk or zombie apocalypse maps when you're looking for modern maps.
yeah, a lot of times you want to
Yeah.
look for floor plans for modern maps, or city planning maps.
Right.
So if you want like the layout of a town, look for map of X town, or if you want a plaza, then look for like civic proposal plaza, or
Mhm.
Sure, yeah.
park
Yeah.
new park layout is a good one.
I was checking, as you do, old patent submissions, and
like you do.
yeah, like
Sure.
you do, yeah. And the one of they have quite a few that are like circuits, or they're drawn in such a way that it almost look like a city, and they almost look like kind of a curious kind of like technological city. So I would look into those too. And Stan brings up 1940s.nyc. Which has lots of maps, every building in New York City in 1940. So, wow.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
That's dope.
There's a whole Golden Age setting for you right there.
All right. Well, hey, listen, we are 1 minute away from being done, and look at this.
Oh yeah.
Crystal Frasier, you superhero! I just absolutely am just so excited about this. Now, people are like, "Oh, I actually kind of want to play with this." Now, I wonder if we should make it available in some capacity.
I put it up on the Patreon.
Okay, we'll do that. Put it up on the Patreon.
Yeah.
That'll be great, and you can.
Absolutely, it's fast and easy to put together maps for your home game. Like I move a little faster just because I know Photoshop pretty well, but all you got to do is figure out like what areas do you need? How much open space do your heroes need or want? And what big shapes do you want them to sort of run around?
One of the big shapes we've got to run around it. Steve's got a hard stop at 3, and so we're gonna depart. Everybody, thank you so much for such a great program. Crystal, you are absolutely just a delight. Thank you so much for taking time and doing that. Everybody, we will see you next week here in the same place. Don't forget to stop by for the Thursday with Owen Casey Stevens, and that will be Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.